Welcome back to Sebuleni here at the beautiful House of Rock and Roses in Elkington. Now, when it comes to relationships, many men insist that they are not mind readers or psychic. That's why we decided to help the guys out. Here's what some women said on the things men assume about them. Take a look.
They don't want to accept that some women can beat them in making money and in doing what they can do, and they can do it better than them.
They think we're easygoing and they think women are cheap. But they're wrong, because nowadays there is no woman who is so cheap.
Their word should always be final, and that is not a good assumption. Sometimes a woman can have a good opinion or a good decision.
I think when they get you, they think that you'll always be there. They don't try to maintain you.
They do the chasing first, so the moment they get you, now they relax. They leave you to keep calling, reminding them about dates and all that.
You're always a player, especially if you're pretty. You definitely have to be a player, which is not true.
Most Kenyan men have low opinion of women. They think that they cannot do anything for themselves, they cannot come up with something constructive.
Now that's very interesting, and I think Yvette, I want you to answer this, because I think women and men have different needs.
Yeah.
What would you say are some of the key needs women have?
There's a need for affection, affirmation. Understand where I am emotionally. Because guys, you don't realize that an emotionally secure woman will do anything for you. That's the secret, you know? So we just need to be made to feel emotionally secure. I think that's the major
thing.
Yeah.
You know, and the interesting thing is a lot of women are now watching Catalina and Sebastian and all of that, because there's no romance in your life. You know, guys, if you're wondering why women are watching those shows, it's because there's no romance in your life. The affection, as one of the viewers said, ended after he got you. So June, how does a man learn how to be affectionate post getting the woman in his house? How does he continually do this?
The same things you did before, because that's what brought her in the first place. It's the same things you need to continue. Unfortunately for the men, I think they, as we talked, they take women as a project. So they say, I have to get a house, I need to get a car, I need to get a wife. So once I get a wife, she comes into the house, now she's a wife. So he'll do whatever it takes to get her in. So he'll do the things that he normally would not do. If he couldn't carry roses on the streets, for that woman, he'll carry the roses. But he'll find creative ways of actually carrying the roses, looking for money to buy her chocolate or whatever it is she likes. And at that time, he pays attention to her. But once they get married, is that mission is done, mission accomplished, finished, I move on now to the next thing. But the women don't move on in terms of, for them, that's what got her in the first place. She loved the way you bought her roses. She loved the way you paid attention to her. She loved all those things. But now you've stopped. So for her, you don't love me anymore, because that's what she understands as your expression of love. And that's the language she understands. So we need to continue to do those things, because she loves. And also other things. Sometimes it may not be the roses. You know, maybe as you know, some people love diamonds. I mean, I don't know what it is. What else? I mean, okay, that's a bit on the high side. But find out what it is. And one of the things I find about women that is more or less generalized to all, time. Time is a resource we all have. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to. We all have time. Spend time with your girl. Spend time with your woman. Spend time with your wife. Take her out. Just spend time with her. Or come home early. It's as simple as that. Talk with her,
Let me just add something in terms of creativity, because sometimes for men, if one formula works, you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again.
Let's talk about financial security, because we're talking about the needs that women have. You know, do women want to, and you talked about being in the 21st century, do they want to take financial charge at home? Tazim?
I think women do, because the stereotype and the old way of thinking was men are better at handling money and finances. And now women are savvy. You know, women have gone to school, women are educated, and women can do exactly the same thing, and maybe even better, and be more creative at some point. The thing is, I think with every couple, it's individual again. Does the woman want to do it? Is she better at it? Or is it better for the man to do it? And is he better at it? So again, it boils down to individuals. And fighting over it or arguing over it because now I'm stronger. I might be, as a female, the financial controller at a huge company. That doesn't mean that I can do my personal finances better. That's just an assumption. And I think men feel more, they feel better when they're handling the finances because finances has always been a male thing. However, I think it requires balance again.
It's about who does it best.
Who does it best and who can bring the best results. Again, in fact, personally for me, I think the best thing where finances are concerned is that a man and a woman sit down once a month, talk about their finances, agree on their expenditure, agree on what they're going to save, and talk about it continuously on a monthly basis so they come to different conclusions and find how they can progressively keep their finances healthy. That is the best solution in any relationship.
Everybody wins.
Yes.
Everybody wins. Okay, great. Let's take some comments or questions from the audience.
Well, these beautiful ladies have just said love is a two-way thing. And we wouldn't like a situation where one is making too much sacrifices. And mostly it's men who make too much sacrifices in relationships. So I just wanted to know if there are specific roles for men or specific roles for women. Because I know if mostly if a woman does something that she thinks it's not her role, she'll just put that down. And whenever you have an argument, she'll pull out that card. So I just wanted to know if there are specific roles for men and specific roles for women.
A relationship ideally is not a competition, and I think one of the things that we really miss out is that we miss out the whole aspect of friendship. I think in every relationship we need to stop and be friends and find some common ground where we can laugh at things and work out things. Now, when we work out at being friends, it's not like this is your role and you did this and you didn't do this. You find that you want to outdo one another in good deeds, in kindness, and that's something you can work towards. Ideally, each of us can decide what kind of relationship do we want to have. If you're friends, actually, you'll find that both of you want to do it. So that's the ideal, and you can work towards getting there.
In certain homes, the men will stay out of the kitchen, but if it works for you that he's the one who goes into the kitchen, then you create that.
Absolutely. Some men are better cooks than their
others.
women.
Okay, great. Another question.
When you say that communication is dying, I think I know where the problem is. In most situations, the moment I and my partner are going to sit down and talk, you see, the topic of discussion will arise from I'm hearing from my girls. For us to engage in that conversation, there must be a statement where my girls are saying, I've been told, I've heard. I think the path should change. Let's realize that the solutions to our problems do not rest on the other girls and my boys. It's me and you. Let's talk. Then also we should change the patterns of our communication. Because the moment we sit down, you'll say, you don't do this, don't do this. Tell me, by the way, sweetheart, or whichever word you want to use. I still remember the first day you did this to me. That way I'm going to remember. By the way, I used to buy you chocolates. I used to take you out. So therefore, that will rejuvenate me. But the moment you say you don't take me, you see Akina Lilian, they're taken where, Akina Kamau, Njoroge, you see they take their girlfriends there. At the end of the day, we'll have arguments. Let's have constructive discussion where we be creative also as a lady. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Could I add something to that, please? Because what he's talking about is so important. The blame game we've been doing, we do that in so many arenas, not just in relationships, we do them in friendships, we do them at workplaces. It's your fault. And I'm not going to point because I don't like to point, but you did this to me. And that language, you're absolutely 100% on the tee. We need to change our language. And to change our language, we don't talk about you did this and you did that. We need to say, when this happens, this is how I feel. So we stop the blame game. Because when I say you did it, it's like it's your fault. Whereas if I say, when you did this, you may not have realized, but this is how I felt.
Great. One more question.
Thank you for the opportunity. I think this discussion has gone into those men and women who have already found themselves. I think the challenge is more on those who haven't yet found each other. And my take on this is that you meet a woman and you want to talk to her, and on the first date, you realize that this woman has a serious men issues, and she ends up to be beginning by generalizing about men, tells you how she is bitter about men, and things like that. You move on to the next woman and she tells you the same thing. So from my perspective is that our women are more into generalization, and they have a lot of men issues that they bring into new relationships. And in due course, they've been so much preoccupied in looking for Mr. Right that they have failed to expose Miss Right to Mr. Right.
I like that. Yvette, I think you can take that because you talked earlier about baggage.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think the take home in all this is that it is wrong to come into a relationship with baggage. At the end of the day, we are individuals. So this man hurt me. It doesn't mean that all men will hurt me. We have to have an open mind and be ready to go into the relationship. I like the way that you said you're so preoccupied with your hurt. If you're so preoccupied with the way that you're hurting, I mean, you will not go far into the relationship because you're not portraying a beautiful picture of who you are. So there are lots of things we can learn from what you've said. I think we need to focus and say, okay, I want to be in a relationship. Let me show my beautiful side and, you know, and deal with my issues. I think even baggage issues can be discussed in a non-accusatory tone, so to speak. This is where I'm coming from. I've been in a series of relationships. I have been hurt and I'm feeling somehow insecure. Is there a possibility that you'll be different? What assurance do I have that you won't be like the other men in my life? So that's the thing about life and relationships. Every day is a great opportunity to learn something new and how to do something differently.
And I think a lot of times women also attract that negative script in their relationship because they expect every man to be like the last man.
Yeah. So can we take it back one, because you've brought up a very essential ingredient on what causes breakdown in relationships. Not even being able to start a relationship, but it doesn't even go anywhere. And so let's get back to what is it that we need to do to get into healthy relationships. I think it begins with each man and each woman starting by taking responsibility of themselves, how they function in their lives, how much of a relationship they have with themselves before they're able to get into a relationship with another person. Baggage is always there. But you know, there is no future in the past. So whatever has happened in the past, there's no future in bringing it here. So how do you deal with it? So at an individual level, this is another thing that we all need to look at. Do we actually take responsibility for who we are?
I think most people, why they fail in relationship is because they bring comparisons of other people's relationship. Maybe your friends, like ladies, we went, they have 3 or 4 friends, and then they are dating other guys, like, okay, this guy is working in a well-secured job, and then my boyfriend is working in a non-secured job. So like the other lady this lady tries to bring the comparison, so how the other relationship is going, and trying to make this relationship look like the other, in which I think most men do not like it, because men like to have their relationship in their own way. Not comparing with others.
Okay, great. Thank you, ladies, for those interesting insights. We take a break now, but when we return, how to win big time with a woman in your life. We'll be right back.